Welcome to Google for Real Estate. I'm Derek Bixler, real estate agent, outdoor adventure sportsman, volunteer firefighter, and Google marketing geek. Let's get into it. Today, I've got a few pieces of news, not a ton of stuff. We'll do some Ask Me Anything or share wins if you want to. In the chat instead, I've got all my links in the chat for all the things, and if you want to put your review request link in the chat, you're welcome to do that, and then pay it forward, give somebody, give a review, get a review, or if you want to, like I did the last few weeks, you've heard me say put your name in there, and then to help each other, you can Google each other and click on that person's website, click on their Google business profile, spend some time perusing their online stuff, and that can help them because Google is watching all the things happening everywhere, even more so now than in the past. And I have yet another illustration of that today with a new thing that just dropped from Google that some are saying is going to put Chat GPT out of business. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But one of the Google gurus, I think, was quoted as to saying that. So if I could find my notes here, yeah, put your link in the chat or your name in the chat if you want to. All the links for all my stuff is in the chat. At the top of the room, if you're here live on Clubhouse, there is a link to, and I'll try to remember to put the link in the YouTube description, Spotify, all that stuff. If you're listening or watching there, I'll get to that part too. If you're listening there, if you click above, that will take you to a Calendly scheduler to schedule an episode on Krista Lorenzo and my new show, podcast, live video, whatever you want to call it. Podcast, I guess, is probably the easiest thing to call it, video podcast. And we are starting to schedule that. I've paid for my StreamYard, re-upped my StreamYard, and I think, yeah, our first one is tomorrow, our first filming, and I've got, I think, like 9 or 10 scheduled already. I feel like it might even be 11. I just added one this morning. Around 10-ish already scheduled out to like June. We're only doing them Tuesdays and Thursdays between a couple of hours on those days because has to be scheduled between Krista and I and the third party, so it is a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, click that link above, and hopefully whatever time you pick will stay the time, and the automation will bug the crap out of you so that you show up and don't forget about it, and it will serve you up with all the information you need to know about what to expect and how the show goes and all that stuff. Really, it's just 30 minutes of talking about your market, your place, not so much the real estate market. We could touch on that too, but talking about your place, kind of local customs, isms, special, unique places about your place, kind of moving to your place, so to speak. It'll be somewhat similar, I guess, to the format of my old show, Wanna Move There. If you went to wannamovethere.com, that would take you to a playlist on my YouTube channel for that show. That was a longer format and just me as the host with guests, but that would give you an idea, something like that. But obviously Krista will be there as well. And then the third person and 30 minutes should be pretty easy to fill up. So if you're interested in doing that, it'll be fun, super easy. Everybody that did my old show showed up kind of nervous and anxious and left saying, oh, that was easy, that was great. Because I kind of turn into manic Derek as soon as the camera starts rolling. I don't like dead air, especially if we're like actually live. So I will keep things moving and keep the conversation. And with two hosts, two of us hosting, that'll be even easier to keep everything going together. And I'm pretty organized. I got bullet points in a format and keep things going and everything. So if you want to be on the show, please be on the show. First, the only prerequisite really is that you have to be a real estate agent and you have to know your area and come with some kind of, write down a few things that are special. Like if I was coming to the show, I would say we've got Hershey's chocolate. So obviously I would talk about chocolate. We're a huge logistics hub. Because we can serve like 70% of the population within a one day's drive or something like that. That's not exactly it. We've got lots of car auctions. We've got the oldest college, the first college formed after we declared independence here. We've got like the 5th oldest river on the planet or something like that. A whole bunch of stuff like that. Foods, special foods to here, isms and that kind of thing. So just come with a few of those things and it should be pretty easy. And then there is a questionnaire that you'll fill out that'll ask you a bunch of questions about yourself, so you get a nice full intro and you can share it with people and be a nice thing to share out also. So click that link above and schedule an episode if you would like to be on. Just have to be a real estate agent and know about your place. We'll start with Ask Me Anything or wins or anything. Does anybody have any questions, issues, anything with Google Business Profile, local services ads, or other digital marketing stuff? And if not, I will go into my news and random things. And the first of which is, I think I'm going to make this show now only 30 minutes starting today. For a few reasons. Takes a little bit of pressure off of me of trying to fill 60 minutes. If it is a good topic, I can then split it up into multiple episodes, and it kind of helps with people wanting more and that kind of thing. If you cut it off halfway through talking about something and leave the meat for the end or whatever. And I'm going to be doing this other show with Krista, so that's kind of 2 shows, and I'm going to be adding video to this show is my plan. So soon, this audio only podcast, I'll be going live on StreamYard to a bunch of different places, and it'll be video also, kind of like Ray Ellen does. So this will be 30 minutes from here on out, and live video will start at some point as soon as I get my bearings and get this all together. One change at a time. For now, let's just change it to 30 minutes, and then after a couple weeks, and probably after we start recording and I get our other show recording and everything down, then I'll start adding this video in. I already record it with my phone that's staring at me right now, but I don't put that out anywhere. It's not really structured for the long form version of it to go out there. So show changing up a little bit, but still here and hopefully getting better. And I would like to start getting some guests this year. I didn't want to start asking guests to come on before I had a lot of episodes and a lot of them under my belt and felt more comfortable, but I might start inviting some people. The people I want to invite, I don't know if they would do it or not, because they're kind of heavy hitter people, the gurus that I follow, but they have been on Clubhouse, a lot of them before, so it is possible. So some changes to the show coming. Fire. Oh yeah, there's a fire going on right now. A big commercial fire that my phone keeps blowing up at me. Always know it's a real fire because the first alert will be like, these trucks are due to show up for this alarm. And then usually you'll see another alert that says truck 45 is available again, because it was a false alarm or they got there and it wasn't really a fire and they're back available again, so it's over. But if you see multiple alerts come in and more trucks added to it from other companies and stations, so the first one's like structure fire at blah, 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 and you're like, it might be something. A lot of times that's a false alarm. We have a lot of commercial and like warehouse and manufacturing and distribution stuff in our first due area. We're the first due in those areas. So there's a lot of false alarms. The alarms are heightened so that places are safe and they go off a lot of times before something's actually happening. So false alarms. But this one, you saw the first alert, which is a few trucks do normal stuff for like a regular alarm, and then another alert adding like 5 more trucks, and then another alert adding like 5 more trucks, and I think the fourth alert was looked like it was like 20 different apparatus due and called to the scene. So I'm kind of jealous right now because I'm going through the courses right now. I'm like a third way through the third course, and there's 4 courses to be able to go inside the fire or cut holes in roofs and that kind of stuff. So now I kind of have a better feel of what to do for this than I did previous. So I'm kind of jealous that I'm not over there right now, but is what it is. And I've missed other fires and there will be more fires. So all good, but my phone keeps beeping at me and I want to know what's going on. I don't have a radio. They're supposed to be getting new radios and issuing us each one. So like right now I could listen to them, to our team talking to each other over there, or if I could tell that they really needed help, maybe I cancel something and go over there and do it or whatever. But anyhow, fire going on right now, and that's fun. And then I've actually turned into a mustache guy. This is a lot of personal stuff right now without Google, but whatever. mustache guy. I'll probably post a pic here soon, because last week no one said anything about a beard or not being able to have facial hair to be a firefighter at any time. I went to the initial meeting with them, like application meeting or whatever, with a beard. Nobody said anything. Always beard, 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 beard. Not a huge beard, but I always have facial hair, full facial hair, a little bit at least. And then last week, the last class ending, they're like, anybody that's going to be here for the next class, you need to be clean shaven. If you come not clean shaven, you're going to have to shave it here with whatever razor we got laying around in the ambulance or whatever. Because our masks, the air masks we wear, they don't want hair in there. They want a clean seal against your skin, rubber to skin, without hair there. So I was pooping my pants when he said it. I was like, what? I don't know anything about this. I don't like my face without my facial hair. I've had facial hair for as long as I've had facial hair. I've had some kind of facial hair, I think. There was probably a brief time maybe, but I don't like it. I can see, like, I'm like, oh God, that part of my skin is sagging now that I couldn't notice before. But long way of saying, I now have a mustache because I couldn't bring myself to shave everything. I look like a sick cancer patient or something, I feel like. So anyway, I'm a mustache dude now. And if I post a video from today, you'll see it on there. And the mustache is not super long yet, but it is starting to actually look like a mustache. And my daughter Piper keeps calling me mustache guy, or Mario, and then my daughter Lucy is calling me Mario. So yeah, it's a little bit of a jolt when you see me too. So anyway, including myself, mustache guy over here. We'll see how long that lasts, because I don't. After the course is done, I don't know how strict they are on having to do that like every day, because that's a big life change. To like somebody should have said that, because it matters a lot to me. Like, I don't know, it does matter. To me, if I have to change what my face has looked like for the last 20, 30 years, that's a pretty big change that I feel like they should have said something about, but maybe the mustache will grow on me. Also, I'm single, I'm not married, so other people, like, who cares, do what you want as long as your wife doesn't completely hate it, whatever. But I got to think about, like, if I want to date or something, what am I going to look like? And Mr. Mustache guy over here. But anyhow, so yeah, and then I also mentioned that we're starting to film the show tomorrow, so just a reminder about that link up top if you want to be on our show. And then AI mode just dropped, so you've heard me talk about last couple weeks that you could get on the wait list for Google's AI mode, which is basically kind of their Chat GPT for Google search. So instead of regular Google search, they now have AI mode. They already had search generative search, where you would ask it and there would be an AI overview, an artificial intelligence overview, which Google would do the Googling for you, summarize it, and then give you some links you could click and everything. Now this is a step further, even, to where you're just asking AI, very similar to Chat GPT, or if you just went to Gemini, Google's AI, and asked it something, that's what it would be. So in the last couple episodes, you've heard me say that I was on the wait list and waiting to get access to it. And just today, I didn't check it yesterday, but up until a couple days ago, I did not have access. But just today, when I pulled this up for the episode, it looks like I did have access. So you might be able to get AI mode if you just go to Google, the regular Google, and then up in the corner, you click the little beaker and it says Search Labs, and then you can just click to sign up for the wait list, or it might just let you go try it right now. Of course, the first thing that I went to ask it, and I haven't messed around with it too much yet because I just realized that I had it, but the first thing that I asked it was, who's the best listing agent in Carlisle to use to sell a house? And what it gave me was interesting. And I've mentioned this before. I've searched this via Gemini, and it seems to be basically the same answer I got with Gemini in this AI mode, which makes sense because it basically is just Gemini. It is pulling from stuff other than Google business profiles. So again, like I've been saying, we need to take a more holistic approach. AIs are not just going to, whether it's Google's AI or ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever, or what ultimately it will be is your personal AI agent, they call them, that you use for everything, whether it's Google's or Bing's or whoever's. You'll have this thing that you ask, and when you ask it who's the best plumber or who's the best real estate agent, it's not just going to go look at Google business profiles only. It's going to look at Google business profiles, Zillow, Redfin, if you're talking about real estate. If you're talking about other services, maybe they're looking at Angie's List or handyman sites or whatever. It's looking at everything, putting it all together, comparing all the agents together based on everything, and then coming up with answers. And it was evidenced by this search again, which again, like I said, is the same as I did on Gemini before, and I'm not going to say the agents' names because they're in my market, and I'm not going to. I'm all about abundance, and I do work for other people in my market and give secrets and teach classes and all that stuff, but I'm still not going to yell them out on my podcast. But anyway, number one, blank team of blank of Central PA, and the reason, highly rated and known for their performance. They can be found at address. I don't know how that helps me at all to know where they can be found. They could have used that line to tell me more about that. And they're number one, so they didn't really tell me much of anything. But okay, number one is highly rated and known for their performance. And I know that team. They've got a huge team, maybe one of the biggest in the area, especially right here in this town. And I know he has 800 reviews. I think he has the most reviews of anybody in this area, immediate for sure, maybe in Central PA. There's one or two other agents I'd have to check to see, but so that's why he's up there. 1 billion reviews on Google, and I'm sure he's got them on Zillow and other platforms as well. But so you got his team up there, number one. Number two is blank with blank of Central PA, different brokerage, but also of Central PA. And she has a high rating and substantial sales within a certain price range. So substantial sales within a certain price range tells me that it is looking, and it didn't reference Zillow, but it references Zillow and other ones, and I'm pretty sure that's what it's looking at, and possibly other ones, Redfin or any other ones that track agent sales and put it out to the public. It's looking at how many sales are happening in Carlisle, so it's looking at the sites, doop. This person is selling a ton in Carlisle, plus they have good ratings on Zillow or wherever. It doesn't say Zillow, but Zillow or Facebook or Google or whatever. So we'll put her up to the top. And that makes sense. I know her. She does crush it around here, and that would be true. And also, this is a good check. If you do it for your own market, you can kind of fact check it, because I know my market, so I know if this is true or not. You could also just look them up and go do the research, but in your own market, you could kind of tell probably right off the bat. Number three, the blank real estate group, they call out Zillow for specifically in this one. Zillow notes their team with 367 sales in the past 12 months and their team price range. So I didn't ask for a price range, so I don't know why it's bringing price range into the mix here, but it's directly calling out that Zillow says that they've had 365 sales in the past 12 months, which must be more than most of others, and that is a lot. And I know her also, so that is probably all true there as well. Number four, I kind of know this person, not super well, but the company I definitely know. They exclusively work for the most part in my immediate area. The reason it says is she and her team have strong ratings and sales within their price range. Again, bringing that price range in there, I don't know. I didn't ask anything about price range, so why are you bringing that up? And if you're going to mention price range, tell me what the price range is. Put a number there or whatever. And I'm sure you can ask follow-up questions just like Chat GPT or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. More information about them can be found at their website. Didn't do that for the other answers. Why wouldn't they do it for everyone? They all have a website and probably very easily found on the internet when it's scanning things. So I don't know why it decides to, on the first one, it gives the address that's clickable. They can be found at address that clicks to Google Maps. Second one didn't give me any links. Third one didn't give me any links. Fourth one, they can be found at their website. Maybe their website has a lot of SEO power, and that's why they choose to do the website. And maybe in the first one they did the address because, and I'm just clicking it to make sure, yeah, it does go to their Google business profile. So like I said, they've got 1 billion reviews on there, so it would make sense if they've got like the toppest ranking Google business profile with a ton of reviews. Google chose to link out to that. They can be found at their Google business profile. And then for number 4, they're linking out to their website because I'm guessing their website is pretty SEO friendly or has been around a long time. I know they're a stronghold in this immediate area, and I think they've been around a long time. It's like a mom and pop kind of firm that specializes in this area. So I would guess that it's possible that their website is really old, so possibly has some SEO power to it, and that's why Google is specifically mentioning their website on that one and not the other people's. And the number 5, a top-rated agent with blank of Central PA with a history of sales, and that's it. So not much to say about that person, but I'm guessing it says top-rated, so obviously they have good reviews around. The firm that they are at, and one of the others is the same firm. That firm does a lot in this area and has a lot of agents that are kind of good at digital marketing, so Google might favor agents possibly at that firm or something, or they're kind of putting that together that this firm does a lot and then this person is also at that firm, so they get put into the mix. But I found it interesting. Obviously I'm not in there, and I'm kind of resigned to the fact, because I do more marketing than real estate at this point. I still do real estate, and if you got a referral, send it to me. I'll gladly do it and we'll crush it. But I do more marketing. I do more outward marketing to get business for my marketing business. So really my Google business profile, my local services ads is about the only thing I do for marketing for real estate. So I don't have people, I'm not sending mailers, I'm not doing community events, I'm not doing blah, 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 all these things that would cause people to be Googling me. I'm not selling a ton of volume, so I'm not getting a ton of reviews actively all the time. I kind of have to generate reviews from the few sales I have and from other realtors or other business owners or whatever. I just got a killer review yesterday from an old childhood friend that I referred to. Mark, actually. Was Mark in here? I haven't seen Mark for a while. Mark Eitel, loan officer, originator extraordinaire. But I don't have people Googling me and all the other things happening that Google is now looking at. It used to be I could just destroy on my Google business profile, make sure it's the bomb, get reviews, and I could beat this number 1 right here that's getting caught out. I was beating him forever, and now I'm creeping down a little bit from other people, and I'm convinced that's why it's this holistic approach that the regular Google search algorithm is taking, and the AI seems to be taking it even more. So again, just more evidence, like I said, of what I've been preaching, that you need to be having that Facebook business page with a few reviews on it. You need to have your Zillow up to date and looking like the bomb and having some reviews on it. Where else? Maybe Yelp, like we talked about. All the things. Make sure you're realtor.com. What else? Homes.com. And I just noticed, I don't know if I've mentioned it in this room, I mentioned it in my brokerage training I did last week, and everybody, I heard gasps of people when I said it, because I just realized it 2 weeks after I moved brokerages that I think it was Zillow and realtor.com. I want to say it was those two. I figured the brokerage would change on its own because it's tied to the multi-list and there's like rules and laws around it. So I thought it would just tie, and that is part of what changes on its own, but it did not. I went to my Zillow. I think I was doing a branded search or talking about branded search or something, and I went to Zillow and it was not updated. And then when I stated that in the room that it does not update on its own, I heard people, oh, what? Oh, what? So check your Zillow if you change brokerages at all, I guess, and you don't know that you have that updated. Zillow and realtor.com, I think, at least mine, I had to go in there and manually update the brokerage and tell it. It did not do it on its own. So I've been flying wrong for a few months, couple months, at least, 3 months or so. So check that out there, and be all the places. Make sure they look awesome. Make sure they're consistent. Make sure they're named the same thing. Phone numbers the same. Address the same as possible. Some of them you got to have a different address because the technical broker office for that state or whatever is somewhere far away, and you want a different address. But sometimes you can't dictate. But make sure it's all the way it should be, because this AI stuff is coming. It's here. AI mode, like I said, is now out. So go in there and try the Google AI mode if you want. Obviously, their hope is people stop going to Chat GPT and they just come right here and ask. And I am partial to Google. My phone is automatically Google stuff. It works just. I prefer it to Chat GPT answers. For local stuff, they all kind of aren't great. You heard me do a local search here. Who's the best listing agent in Carlisle to use to sell a house? They're getting better, but ChatGPT is still not great. I would say this is better than I've gotten from ChatGPT, but you could go into both, see what they tell you, and maybe make some changes based on that. See if you're even in there. I'm obviously not, but maybe we can be in there or figure out how to get in there. So, and that's my 36 minutes already. So this is going to be easy to do these 30-minute rooms. Let me see if there's anything else I really want to state, and then I can save some stuff for next week possibly. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a couple quick things. Nothing crazy here. Search Engine Roundtable. You've heard me mention that show that I like to watch and blog that I like to read. They talked about a setup bug at the phone number part when you're setting up a Google business profile for the first time, where the way they described it sounded like when you're creating a new profile, you're kind of going through the steps, giving the address, giving this piece, what do you want to name it, blah, blah, blah. When you get to the phone number part, it would not let you progress past the phone number part. When you clicked it, I guess it just wouldn't move on, or it would just think forever, or I didn't see it happening, but there was some kind of bug at the phone number part and people couldn't proceed or finish it. So if you experienced that, could be part of the same bug. I've created multiple in the last couple weeks and I didn't experience that at all. So it might just be some profiles, or who knows with Google and their algorithms and when they change things, how bugs happen. But if you experience that, could be just a bug and you might just need to check it again. And I'm wondering, actually, they just instituted this new chat feature that seems to be super buggy. If you go into your edit profile tab in your Google Business Profile dashboard, and right below your phone number, there will be a chat feature, and you basically want to put whatever number you text with, probably the same number as the phone number above. And you can choose WhatsApp too if you want to do WhatsApp, but most people are doing text. Switch it to text, put the number in there, save, and then it almost, I'd say 80% of the time, rejects that number that I put in there for clients. It accepted mine, and I have had some accepted, but it seems to reject them a lot, and it seems like a bug because I don't know why it would reject them, or maybe you should just make it when I put a phone number there, you get a text and then put the code in and it verifies it. Like, how hard is that just to put something in there to verify it or make sure it's correct or whatever? So I don't know if this phone number thing has something to do, or maybe tied to the back end and the chat feature and all these things going on. But if you're experiencing that phone number bug creating a profile, that might be it, and just keep trying and you should be able to get through it, I would think. Like I said, I haven't experienced the issue myself, but things can be different for different people. And then on another show, blah, blah, nothing really too groundbreaking. Google found to have violated the EU's anti-competitive policies. The EU is always ahead of us, kind of cracking down on businesses, and they've been against, and we are also lawsuits or whatever with Google about having a monopoly on search and browser and all that kind of stuff. So they've been found to be violating that again, I guess, or maybe it's still the same. Maybe it's not over and there's still I think it's that there was an agreement and then they were found to violate it again, but don't quote me on that. And then they also mentioned that local search is not a part of it. So all these agreements for Google to stop self-preferencing, they say. So self-preferencing means if you Google something, Google will have its ads, which is its own system, paid ads. It will have the Google business profiles, maybe if it's a local search, which are Google products, and then it could have its own shopping ads, blah, 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 its own things there. So you're clicking all on Google-owned things rather than in the past where it was just you Googled something and it was all other people's websites and you got sent to somebody's website. So self-preferencing, that's been the issue, that when you Google stuff, Google just circles you back to something that Google also owns, kind of thing. So they've been held to be violating that, and local search not necessarily a part of it, or is not a part of it, even though I mentioned Google business profiles in my example there. Google made a public announcement. I've been talking about this too. Last week, the title of the episode, which I still have to publish to Spotify and YouTube, and I did not send an email out about it because I got too busy. But last week's episode is called Don't Change Anything, because there has been a spike in re-verifications and suspensions, changing things that we used to be able to change and optimize. They've been cracking down on it and suspending and triggering re-verifications for things that they used to not. Apparently, they made a public announcement and there was a spike. They know about it. And some people said that it was fixed, but they're still saying to be careful. So obviously Google changed something in their trust algorithm, so to speak, whatever the algorithm that decides if a business is trustworthy. They're always updating it. Obviously they made some change and it's doing things that maybe they didn't anticipate, or it's being too strict and now they got to go in and tweak it, which seems to be always the way. I think all these companies kind of build things, especially Google. They build a thing and then they got to put it out there and test it and then fix it, is kind of how they roll. Move fast and break things. I think that was Mark Zuckerberg, maybe? That could be wrong also, but somebody in the tech space always says move fast and break things. And that's kind of what they do. So I think that's everything. And I'm 12 minutes past my new shorter time, but that's all right because I'm still getting used to that. And we had a nice conversation about skiing. And actually, the actual episode, once I cut off before my intro, will probably only be about 30 minutes because we had some banter back and forth, which I liked and enjoy. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions, issues about anything I said or anything else? And if not,
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So, what do you think about this? Someone said if your office has like multiple satellite offices or branches, to go ahead and make a group Google My Business for branch locations for all of those locations for your personal profile. What are your thoughts?
So you can't have duplicate. You're saying what was the group
So, for instance,
profile part?
basically, wherever you have an office, so my office has multiple branches throughout the state. Because they participate in multiple MLSs. And so the person said to create a Google profile at each of those different office addresses for
Gotcha.
greater visibility throughout the state.
Yeah. The brokerage, yes, they should definitely do it because it's like a McDonald's with multiple locations. They should all have a Google business profile that's legitimate and different registered locations, yada, yada. For an agent, probably not. I'd say no, 99% no, because that would be a duplicate profile. You're really just one person at one place. You can't have multiple. That would, especially if you started doing like a bunch, like 5 different profiles at all the places, that would most likely trigger a suspension and a bunch of issues. So I'd say for the brokerage, yes, for sure, every location should have one. For the agents, no.
Even if I'm in the MLS and 2 other locations where there is an office.
If you want to verify, or people were scrutinizing your proof would be the same for each one, other than just the location you're showing them, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that definitely wouldn't fly, I don't think. Although I have never tried it, you obviously would be able to do a verification video if those are all actual offices. You'd have to go there, do the verification video, walk in, blah, 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 do all the things. I could almost guarantee that you would be flagged at some point, maybe immediately. You would, all of a sudden, they'd all get suspended, or one would get suspended, or Google would take it upon itself to merge them and keep the one it thought was the most important, or whatever. Plus, what is it? You can't keep it up. You can't rank all those profiles. Optimizing all of them is one thing, like building them, creating them, optimizing them takes some work, but not crazy hard. But then getting reviews and actually doing the ongoing best practices to make them even matter, that's a whole different thing. So all of them are probably going to fade into the darkness anyway, other than one of them that should be your focus. So for that reason too, I probably would not have multiple, because you're just going to fade into the ether unless you're paying attention to it.
So it's better to just have like different service locations throughout the state, if anything, right?
Yeah, so on the one Google Business profile, you would want to locate that where you want to rank the most, because you rank in proximity to where you're located, which is why you're asking this question, to have more profiles. So you pick wherever that most important place is, put it there. And then in your service areas, you can select up to your whole state, but Google wants it within 2 hours of where the Google Business profile is located. So usually I'm picking all the counties that I serve, and then I think the limit is 20 service areas in there. So I pick all the counties, maybe it's 3 or 4 or something, 2, 1, and then I call out as many cities as I have room till I hit that 20 limit, obviously prioritizing the ones that matter the most. And then it doesn't necessarily make you rank for those places, but I have seen some evidence that like it does help a little bit. Like if somebody's out in the boondocks and nobody is near them, and Google is having to pull real estate agents from far away no matter what, they tend to pick the ones that maybe called out that boondocks place in their service areas, rather than ones that did not call that out, if that makes sense. So service areas, I think, matter, but don't think that because you add a service area an hour away, you'll now show up for searches if somebody's searching from there. Probably not, unless it is, like I said, boondocks, or Google is reaching to try to pull some agents to show to the person. So one profile. Or you could risk it. You could go for it.
I won't take that chance.
Yeah, it's too much work anyway. You wouldn't want to do that. That's a ton of work. It's too much work. It's a lot of work just to get one to be the bomb and try to get some business from, let alone trying to do 3 to 5, unless you got a team or somebody. At first, when you used the word group, and I didn't hear your whole question, I thought maybe you were going to ask if a bunch of agents should get together, like a team kind of, and have one Google Business profile, or maybe like everybody at a branch all decides to, we're just going to all collaborate on that one Google Business profile, so we can destroy every other Google Business profile, and then we divvy out the leads that come in from that Google Business profile. That could also be not a terrible idea. You are kind of competing with each other. There has been evidence lately that multiple profiles, like we do with real estate agents, it can hurt. Mainly it would hurt the brokerage profile, because usually agent profiles are better, and then the brokerage profile gets dropped because Google isn't going to rank multiple profiles from the same location. Sometimes that it does happen, but the brokerage one usually gets drowned out, and everybody that's also losing kind of gets drowned out sometimes too. So collaborating like that, or maybe if you own a brokerage, maybe your policy just is nobody can have a Google business profile, which is not, I don't think I'm taking that stance. I think there's merit to doing both things. Obviously on the agent side, they want their own stuff and you want to be agent friendly. So you want them to have their own stuff and their own reviews and all that stuff. However, if it's more like a brokerage that's kind of like a team, it's my team, and there's not like a big brokerage with a bunch of agents that I don't really deal with a lot, then maybe you dictate there's only one and everybody's reviews and everybody's work goes onto this one Google business profile, so we can destroy the competition with this Google business profile, and then we'll actually get some leads, and then we'll just hand out the leads, or you get this one, you get this one, or whatever. So that could be an interesting idea, actually. Anything else, anybody?
Yes, Derek, I have a question. This is Mia Zoll from Fort Lauderdale. I have gotten these, I did get locked out of Facebook. I did get back in it with the help of this wonderful company, but they keep asking me, or I get on my emails that my continuing education, which I never gave them in the first place, is up, and I need to give them something. What do I give them, and how do I know it's real that they're asking for?
Who's asking this?
Supposedly it was Google My Business was asking for it.
They would never ask for continuing education. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It says that it's up. Well, mine's up the 31st. I've done everything, but it's saying the 28th. I'm afraid to click on anything right now. I'm gun shy.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If you get an email you're not sure about, never click on the email or the text or call the people back. You just go to. It sounds like a local services ad. Google Business Profile doesn't.
Okay.
Continuing ed on either place isn't a thing.
Yeah, but I don't do their service ads.
Yeah, but you do have an account, I think, right?
I don't know.
It might not be finished or set. I feel like you did start it, maybe, or even if you do a few clicks, it'll keep bugging you and say like you need to do this thing. But yeah, shoot it to me if you need to. But it sounds. Okay. Just go to your Google Business Profile, and if there's a blue check there, then you're good. And if there's not, it'll say red. Click this button to fix the problem.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just go to your Google Business Profile.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. A lot of spammers out there.
Oh my God.
This is Business Verified. Your Google Business Profile can't be found and is not on voice search. You can say, go F yourself. That's not a thing. All right. Anything else, anybody? Stretch it out to an hour. That's all right. All right. Nothing else. I'll let everybody get back to their hump day. And have a good week, everybody.
Thank you, Derek.
Hey, thanks, Derek.